Hello and welcome to my review of the Necrons Canoptek Reanimator, found in the Warhammer 40,000 INDOMITUS box set. At present, it is the only way of grabbing hold of one of these Canoptek Reanimators inside this £125 box set, as it's not available in any of the other starter kits. I would like to predict that the model will be available separately, and because it's a decent model, it's got some good rules, very reminiscent of the War of the Worlds. I really like the verticality that these models bring. It's not often you see that in any of the miniatures. They're very thick or wide, or they just focus on a lot of detail, or they have scenic bases. We don't get many kind of vertical models, I don't think anyway, but this is one of my favourite models in the whole set, along with that Scorpek Lord. So let's get straight in there and have a look at the detail for the Reanimator. So this is the model itself. Incredible looking thing. It's the tallest, largest model in the set. It's got this massive base, which is the same size as the Scorpek Lord. And my focus isn't really doing the best thing at the moment, but it's got a somewhat of a scenic base. There is a skull on there. There's a broken, damaged piece of armor. There's a steel girder, I want to say, another skull. There's this kind of fist from one of the Cataphrone destroyers, I think it is. You know, the big robot things for Mechanicus. This Reanimator has got these scythes. They are a bit spindly. I think this one is a bit wobbly just in there. I don't know how or why or what I did to it to make it a bit wobbly, but I've just got to be a bit careful with it. It's got this interesting head on a big metallic ring of tubing. And then it's got these energy weapons, I want to call them. We'll get into the rules for those in a moment. And like the plasma sight and the crypto thralls, it shares this middle kind of curved dome middle section to its body. And it also has somewhat of a crypto thrall kind of armor piece there, but shares a little bit of the top carapace from the plasmancer and the spine. So interesting, very interesting model, like nothing I've seen before. I really didn't expect this from Games Workshop or for Necrons, these kind of tall walkers, but I did expect something kind of in a zoomorphism way. But let's go ahead and show you some size comparisons of this beast. So the next largest model in the whole collection for Necrons is the Scorpek Lord, and as you can see, he's probably a bit more than half the height, so it just shows you just how tall this Reanimator is. Then you've got the normal Scorpek destroyers, the crypto thralls, the warriors, and then this is probably like the first time I've done a scarab size comparison, but there's the scarabs as well right on the bottom. So it is the tallest model in the set, even compared to the tallest Space Marine model right here. The captain barely even comes up to one of its legs, so you could fit the captain another sort of 1.5 times. And you know, I say one of the largest models in the set for Primaris, even the Space Marine bike. Yeah, that just gives you an idea of the sizes involved. So that was a big bundle of Primaris and Necron miniatures. What I'd like to do though is just bring in the Canoptek Heavy Destroyer. This has been missing in a couple of the reviews recently, but this is yeah, when Necrons get super heavy and they get like knight-sized creations, I want to call them. But even the Reanimator would barely go up to this nipple, I want to call it. I don't know, this armor plate section of Canoptek, so barely just higher than, you know, the legs. And that's the pose, that's the low side of the legs. I could have raised the legs even higher if I'd wanted to, but there you go. Gives you an idea of the size of, you know, one of these Reanimators to a large, you know, one of the largest Necron models out there. And finally, the last size comparison I like to make always is one of the three models I always use in the comparisons, which is the Legacy Space Marine, which could run under it, no problem. Slime Marbo, which he could probably climb it and cut the head off it, and then the Primaris, which could probably just charge into one of the legs. I'm not sure, but either way, that gives you an idea of just how tall this thing is. It's a very tall unit. And now you've come to my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Canoptek Reanimator. At first I was thinking surely it's got to be a heavy support choice. I mean, there aren't any heavy support choices in the whole of the Necron force in this set. There is a heavy support choice in the Primaris side in the form of the Eradicator squad. So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking this has got to be heavy support, but it's not. It's actually an elite choice. It's a power points cost of a 5, making it one of the most popular power points cost units in the Necron force. It's not really expensive, but also it's not really cheap either. I'm not sure how many points it would cost in match play, but you're going to have to download the Warhammer 40K app and subscribe to that one to find out. Its stat line then. It's a movement speed of 8 inches, its weapon skill and ballistic skill are both 4+, strength 5, toughness 5, 6 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 10 and a save of 3+. So a very strong stat line there. It's got a decent number of attacks, it's got a decent number of wounds. You know, that's both on par with the Scorpek Lord. It's just its strength and its toughness a little bit weaker than the Scorpek Lord, and of course its weapon skill and ballistic skill. The model is equipped with 2 atomizer beams and elongated claws. Now the atomizer beams, it says it's equipped with 2, which is really quite odd, because you can clearly see that there's 2 there, but then what on earth's this? Because that looks like a weapon as well. Really strange. I think they should have had 2 atomizer beams and 1 heavy atomizer beam, or something along those lines to make it make sense. Anyway, these 2 atomizer beams, what do? Well, they're a range 12 inches, assault 3, strength 6, AP -2 and a damage of 1. Not the best. I mean, let's be fair. It does have an effective range of 20 inches, but still, that's quite lacking for something so tall and imposing. A 12-inch range weapon, it's a movement of 8-inch walker with pistols, let's face it. It's nice that they get 3 shots, and they do have a decent strength of 6 and an alright AP of -2, but nothing to write home about. I expected more. Now the elongated claws don't fare much better. So strength of the user, which is only 5, the AP is -2 again, and the damage is just 1. So overall, it's a really cool model to look at, but very lackluster in the damage output. I guess it can take a bit of damage with 6 wounds and 3+ save, but it's just not gonna perform that well, especially against an opponent with longer range weaponry. And to be fair, they're probably just gonna ignore it. Abilities: Living Metal, and then Nano Scarab Reanimation Beam. Now I can probably explain that beam weapon thing on the top as being this Nano Scarab Reanimation Beam, so it's not really a weapon, it's more of a reanimation tool. It goes on to say, in your command phase you can select 1 friendly dynasty unit within 9 inches of this model. If you do, until the start of your next command phase, while that unit is within 9 inches of this model, add 1 to reanimation protocols rolls made for models in that unit. Now that's pretty decent, although they have to be within 9 inches. So it's a good thing this thing has a movement of 8, because of course it means that it's going to be able to keep up with those Necron warriors or anything that has reanimation protocols, which is the warriors, the crypto thralls, the Scorpek destroyers, and that's it. so it's just those 3 units at the moment. But you know, you can obviously use it with other Necron units in the Codex that do have reanimation protocols, and it's nice that you get to add 1. Keywords: Necrons Canoptek Monster Canoptek Reanimator. So don't go into this model thinking that it is a War in the Worlds tripod and it's going to just evaporate everybody from long distance range. It's not. That's not what it's used for. Its primary use is to increase your chances of reanimation protocols for the units that have that ability. It's nice that it does have some beams, and it's nice that it does have a melee weapon. It is sort of survivable with a toughness of 5 and 6 wounds and a save of 3+, but it doesn't have a save of 2+. It doesn't have an invulnerable save. The toughness isn't 6. It's not a character. Because it's so tall, it may well attract a lot of attention. And if you've purposely kitted out your army with lots of units with reanimation protocols, and you take one of these or you take a few of these, then your enemy is going to see right through that and take them out quite quickly. Anyway, what do you guys think? Shouldn't really have a big death beam weapon, but I would have liked to have seen its weapons be, you know, a further range than 12 inches, maybe 18 inches would have sweetened the deal, and have its close combat weapons be just, you know, a better strength or better armor penetration rather than just -2. But what are your thoughts on the unit? Please do put them all in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.